So Dovetail Direct is just around the corner, coming this Tuesday, August 26th at 16:30 UTC. It is kind of wild to think about because in less than a week, we're finally going to be hearing about more train sim world content. Now, I know I've been a little quiet lately, and honestly, that's just because there hasn't really been much news to cover. The team has been keeping things under wraps, obviously, and I think that's because they've been putting everything into preparing the Dovetail Direct Forest, which is going to have a plethora of announcements. Now, I'm not really making this video to say, hey, Dovetail Direct is coming, since we already knew that, but I do want to use this as a little reminder and also go over the brand new article that went up on the Train Sim forums. This kind of just reiterates a lot of what we already know, but it also clarifies what exactly we can expect from the announcement. First off, if it wasn't already obvious, there is no August roadmap. We're almost finished with August, and I doubt there's going to be a September one either because Dovetail Direct kind of acts as the roadmap. And as far as when we might see the actual release of TSW6, I'm thinking that's likely going to be sometime next month at the end of the month, about a month after the announcement. Though I guess it is possible it could come in October, but I'm pretty sure it's always released in September at some point. But anyway, the article itself was framed around expect the unexpected. And I get it, they're trying to hype up the event and get people talking, but to be honest, the unexpected for me would be all the bugs being fixed. Should we expect that with TSW6? Honestly, I wouldn't hold my breath, but that definitely gave me a good laugh when I first read that. So what did the article actually confirm? Well, we know TSW6 is officially coming. The free starter pack will return on launch day, which is exciting. So all your existing content will carry over if you do claim it. It's going to be available on Steam, Epic, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and also for the Xbox Store for PC. So if you didn't already know the news, Gen 8 is not being cut from the TSW6 release. It's still going to be included, but as previously stated, if there is new content that we do get that isn't Gen 8 compatible, it just won't be released for it, but the game itself as a whole will be supported, so you can still claim that free starter pack and to transfer over all your compatible content. They also highlighted that key optimization improvements are a focus for this release. They've promised to show new routes, new logos, and some new features coming with TSW6. We still don't know what they are. I have tons of videos kind of speculating all of that if you want to check them out, and also a giveaway which will be ending on the release day of TSW6. And during Dovetail Direct, they'll also be sharing the important stuff like release dates, pricing, and pre-order info, and the take a ticket format will be back too, which means we'll get to hear about some of the add-ons planned for after launch. And I'm really excited for this because we received the take a ticket thing for the Train Sim World 5 reveal, so we got to learn about a lot of routes well before they came. So our initial roadmap is going to be packed. One extra detail they tucked in here is that on Saturday, August 23rd, Classic FM is going to give the very first play of the TSW6 soundtrack during Dan TDM's show. So if you are eager to hear the new music from Benjamin Simmons ahead of time, that is definitely worth tuning into. Now, while we're all waiting for Dovetail Direct, there's also been some interesting chatter on the forums that's definitely worth talking about here, at least briefly. A thread popped up at the end of July suggesting an extension of the LGV route, our only French route, possibly with some new French trains added in. That discussion spiraled into players pitching all sorts of ideas, from classic co-rail stock to maybe Eurostar runs and even ICE services that connect into France. Some folks even argued the current LGV feels too empty and definitely would benefit from more variety, and I couldn't agree more. I would also just love to see that route revisited and brought up to the modern standards of the game. The really interesting part though is that Train Sim World executive producer Matt himself stepped in to clear a few things up. He explained that the reason we only have the LGV route in TSW isn't because NSCF refused, it's because at the time, Dovetail only had the TGV license. Since then, they've actually gained TER and FRET licenses, and he also stressed that SNCF TF were great partners to work with on the TGV, and that the whole rumor about them not wanting their trains in a sim was just a community myth that kind of snowballed over time. So at least we know licensing isn't the barrier here. Matt did admit though that proper French content isn't in sight for the foreseeable future, mostly because of development priorities and limited time. That is a bit disappointing to hear because I think many of us would love to see more French routes beyond the high-speed line. But at least that door isn't shut, and that leaves a lot of room for hope down the line. And then you've got the other side of things, Dovetail's own teasing. The official Train Sim World social page put out a short video showing random things around their office, snacks on a shelf, rubber duckies, an ACS64 poster, ICE1 signage, and of course Matt wearing his bright pink headset, looking like he just wanted that camera out of his face. The funny part though is the running gag, someone in the foreground doing an Italian hand gesture. There were a few people online that immediately jumped on that with, Italian route confirmed. Now, whether that's intentional or just a joke, we really don't know, but this does raise the question, could Italy be the unexpected country in TSW6? And if we don't see it at launch, could we see it later on? Now, personally, I'm still assuming we'll see the usual big three, a UK route, a Germany route, and a USA route. If another country did slip in, my guess is it would replace the US, which I would honestly be a little sad about. But also the take a ticket segment is coming back, and we know there will be a lot of post-launch add-ons. So even if Italy or France doesn't show up at a launch, they could still appear during TSW6's life cycle. But all in all, nothing is obviously confirmed above what Dovetail wrote, but there's plenty of room to speculate for more regions. Could we possibly see an Italian route, or at least another Italian route, because we technically already do have one? And could we possibly see more in terms of France down the line? Who knows? But I want to hear from you guys. Do you think we're going to get a surprise country reveal at Dovetail Direct, or do you think it's just going to stick with the usual UK, Germany, and USA regions? And if you had to choose between Italy and France to receive new content, which one would you rather see? That's going to be it from me for this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Take care, guys, and happy rail simming.